Welcome. I'm Crimey Queen, and if you are joining us for the first time, it's the channel where we are having fun with words and numbers, numerology to be precise. This is where we actualize self-love with the scriptures, and it may sound a bit too scriptural or spiritual, but no, these presentations are very relevant or very related to our existence today. So much so, like for instance, I've just done a presentation on Uranus, and I have just put sort of a link in my own makeup, in my own astrological makeup, and see how it could affect me or how I can be affected by its transit in my birth sign, for instance, which is Taurus, and which is said to be in March, May. I think some say March and some say May, but I heard actually, wow, not meaning to give too much away, but it also sounds like it's going to be on my birthday, and this is really almost frightening right now. Okay, what can we do? What can we do? Okay, so it's going to be in Taurus, and I've done this connection with Taurus and Uranus, and realized that, of course, on the numerical value they differ. There's 22, and of course Taurus is 10, which is 19. When we do 19, we have 10. So basically, 10 is 1. So what I am getting here, and I don't know, I'm just feeling I need to go along with this, and I'm doing just that because I'm not the only Taurus around, and I'm sure this would have strong numerical connection with other horoscopes, but I'm just going along with my horoscope on this, and perhaps if I had the time, in essence, to prioritize, I would do other um, birth signs, but I'm going along with this. And I also feel that perhaps more importantly for the earth signs, because the earth signs, of course, going by this chart that we have here, and earth and water signs, I should say. So basically, I think the water signs, of course, are very prominent in this context of what is to happen, because we are looking at the healing of the earth. When we talk of the healing of the earth, we are talking about the healing of ourselves. So this is where Mother Eve is. Mother Eve is the waters that are mentioned in Genesis chapter 1, verse 2. So we see 1 plus 2 is 3. And this is the 3 vibration we need to be activating and propelling us to becoming better versions, expressions of who we are. And of course, with that 3 coincides with the first letter of the word let, which is 3, when Mother Eve, where the recording of Mother Eve's sound or utterance or words would be, the first one is let, which actually is 10 when we do the numerical value on that. So when we do the numerical value on the first word let, L-E-T, this is 352. So 2 plus 5 is 7, and 3 is 10. So we see 10 is here, and this was 10 as well for Taurus. I'm thinking perhaps this is where I can see why I am drawn to explore this subject. What is pulling me to understanding, and it's as if unless something is clear, I can't sort of let it go, or I won't let it go. I want to understand it fully. And these are the things that begin to make sense. Now, of course, the number 10 um, has we are all 10 in essence. It's not because you haven't got that 10 as your um, astrological planet, or for instance in your date of birth or something to that effect, but 10 would we are the embodiment of 10 in the sense that we are man. So this is 415, and that makes us 10. 6 and 4 is 10. So there are other 10s we have as well, because we are the embodiment of heaven. Heaven is 10, hell is 10, mirror is 10, which is reflection of the waters. And the waters, of course, which is the darkness we come from, is 10. So this is not to exclude anyone from what I am saying in this, in essence, but it's that I feel that um, people like myself would perhaps be more sensitive to the to connect, or to pay attention and observe what is necessary, or the steps to take to bring about this healing. Now, as earth signs, of course, we are earth, well, that's self-explanatory. We are earth signs, and we have a very direct connection to the earth. So this is Taurus, Capricorn, um, Virgo, and I don't remember the other one right now, but there are four, supposed to be four earth signs. Okay, and basically is that we are meant to um, and I know through experience that I feel the trees, I feel the earth, I feel the vibration. Even in my home, I can feel the vibration. I can sense when the trees are happy or when they are not very happy. And so this is why I consistently as well have this uh, communication with the with trees and the ground, and of course being grounded, just getting my feet connected to the ground, and that is very important. And I think for most of us we will need to be doing that much more, so then we can really feel exactly what is necessary for our evolution. Because when we heal ourselves, we heal the earth, or when we heal the earth, we heal ourselves. It's very much interrelated. So going back to the two signs that we done, as I said, I thought I would do the numerical value for axis, because it said that Uranus, when spins 17 times per hour, an hour actually is 60 seconds as well. And so 60 seconds, I think it's per hour. Yeah. Um, there, that might be a question mark, but there's the 16, 17 times 7.14 hours. Yes, 17.14 hours. That's it. Times 17.14 each hour. Okay. It spins. Okay. So yes, it spins 17.14. Each 17. All right. Let's take the numbers and then let's work with the numbers. But then there's the spin of 17.14 hours, or 14. Okay. Let's leave the hours aside for now. Okay, I might have said it in my previous presentation already, and it may well be correct, but I'm just going along with how things are developing. So here we have 10 and 6, 16, and 117. So we can see how the word axis as well is also 17, which is 8. So this is the number that sets things into motion. The number 8 is actually, I actually thought that I'm getting another image or another meaning about 8. So I think in my mind to some extent that when something is set, it means there's no movement, although we know everything is vibrational. So it's just amazing how the things we had learned before sometimes still have a degree of impact on or bearing on how we think. So, but the eight, so an eight could be like this, but it still spins around. So this is what we need to be mindful of. Okay. Now, the connection that the other connection that I made with Taurus, as we said with 10. Now, I did say about Taurus in my previous presentation because Uranus enters into Taurus on which is the fifth month of the year. So we were looking at the number five, and looking at the number five is looking at Eve. Looking at Eve, EVE is 545. So this gives us 14, and 1 plus 4 is 5. Now, the other reason as well, and we saw the other 14 comes into the 17.14 we have been talking about. So basically, Uranus seemed to be having I get the impression it's like tilling the ground. That's the image that comes to mind. It's like it's ready to till the ground, to turn things upside down. It's like turning the soil back, um, from top to bottom. It's like really tilling the ground. And that's the impression I get about that planet. So, and that's how it feels for me as well. It's as if everything that I had known, which is why I'm doing this, everything I had known is just being turned over. The other thing that I am just drawing on the synchronicities that happen in this, having me to make this presentation, is that I discovered 14 gods in Genesis of chapter 1 and 2. So there were 9 in chapter 1 and 5 in chapter 2. So that gives us 14. Now that is another connection, another strong correlation with Genesis. This is why I am seeing how the connection is happening here. So in and the 8, for instance, where we say it turns 17 times, coincides with the 8 entries of Mother Eve right here. So we have all these words, which is 8 here entries are really of Mother Eve's. That's the God said. So the God of speech, the God of words, where it was said, in the beginning was the word. We are talking about the God said, which is Mother Eve. She is the one who says, let there be light. She's the one who says, switch on the light when you come in. She's the protector. She says you don't want to tumble over. Be careful where you're going. She's the one who is talking. Okay. And there we see that with this first word, which is let, that equals 10. So I have made that connection. I was talking about, this is another thing we got, even today's date. We had today's date, which is 8, and also 14. So this is how I work intuitively, and I just it wasn't something I thought about when I was doing the other presentation. I realized today's date is actually the 14th, and it actually equals the number 8. So I go with the flow, so to speak, and I realized that we are still talking about the 8 entries here and the 14 gods discovered in Genesis of chapter 1 and 2. Yes. Now, isn't that delicious? I think so. I love those synchronicities, and Now, back to Uranus and Taurus. When I have done the numerical value for Uranus before, and it equals 22. So 22 equals 4. Now I want to ponder a little bit on 22, because two is really unity. Two is partnership, and this is the partnership. It's like Uranus is going to be seeking from us. It is on that vibration, and it's like it's got these vibrations of partnership, which is doubled. It's got a master number, and it is the master in motion, and there it is going to require us to come in perfection or to perfection, because the word perfect equals 10. Now 10, it's, well, should I say Taurus is really perfect? Why not? Why not? I would say that now. Okay, so we are looking at this perfection to come into harmony. It's looking out for each other, in the sense of saying we are on this journey. Come on, let's get ready. Get your backpack, or let's go. This is what number 10 is saying here. And don't take too much of what you don't need. Just take what is necessary. Travel light, let go, shed off the old skin. That is what is happening here. We need to get to that stage, and that is why I think there is the calling from the Taurus to do that. And I saw that there is the exact number of letters as Uranus, both equals 6 number of letters. Now I look into those things because I really think everything really matters. We can't take it for granted that the language is something that has evolved, but there was a seed. There was a seed, and the seed has become so potent by all the things, that the energy that has been fed. So basically, and whether it has stripped in some way, and it's now using all what has been shed as the manure to have that new regrowth. Whichever way we want to look at it, we know that there is a cycle happening here with that seed. So whether it grows and it bears more seeds, and the manure of all the things the 70% of things we don't use, that we told, serves as the manure to create that other cycle, the eighth cycle. Now, I am going to say, and I'm feeling very confident in saying that this also gives the impression, although it serves as a template here, but it also gives the impression, not just the impression, we are looking at this, there have been seven exodus that has happened. So we are not the first human, or as the scripture says, let us make man. Man was already there. There is enough scripture verse to substantiate that. Like for instance, when Cain went off to another land to find wives, Cain and Abel, for instance, I think it was, or when they went out to get their wives, or whether it was Adam and Eve's or the children. But that is indicating that they knew that there were other species or other man species. Man, it sounds like man fish. Well, they went to fish other man. Okay, because that's what the cycle of our world seemed to be. You can see the pattern has been like that. Men are fishing. It has the thing about when Christ said, "Come, I'll make you fishers of men." Yes, I am wanting to say that because I saw this woman in these fishnet tights, and it just dawned on me that really that thing had been devised as the woman being the fish who is caught in the net. So let me not go too far into this right now, meaning she's the bait. Okay, the bait. So the other thing that I saw very the common factor between Uranus and Taurus is the two last letters. So profound. US and US. Now that is very profound. Now that tells me that US, which equals 31, get rid of this. US is 3, 1. And then we have this twice, which would mean 3, 1 and 3, 1 is 62, of course. And the reverse of that with 26, which is a number as well that has been seen as the God number as well, particularly in the Jewish traditions or practices or beliefs. Okay, so 6, 2 equals, when we add this together, equals 8. So there is the common factor here. It's like these two what do I call them? Energies. Let's call them. These two energies are saying, look, let's get together. Let's get together. We've got some serious work to do to come to that 8th entry, to where Mother Eve now. This is where they say, let us make man in our own image and likeness. This has to happen for us to make, and that's what Uranus is really digging the soil, and of course Taurus have to plant. That's what Taurus have to do, and I'm talking about everybody, particularly the earth signs. That's what we have to do. Of course, like Capricorn would have to be capping things or planting corn, we could say. It's Capricorn is the other earth sign that I didn't remember a minute ago. So basically, and Virgo, for instance, would Virgo, of course, is love, and but there would have to be a go aspect, or really perhaps nurturing, the nurturing part. And I hope I have those signs correct. But if I haven't, but let's get to the real core of what the numbers are telling us here. Okay, now so we see that there is that common factor here. The other thing that we need to also see, that when these two come together, they form 8, but they also form 5. So 22 plus 10 is 32. 2 plus 3 equals 5. And that's Mother Eve. That's Mother Eve, who equals 14, 1 plus 4. And that's the 14 we are talking about, that is also reflected in Uranus. And it so happens, I'm going to say this as well, that the 14 is so symbolical that it is been predicted that Uranus is going to enter Taurus on the 15th. That is the following day. So talking about the 15th, I also saw something that reminds me of the 15th. Of course, God said is the 15th. Wow, I've got chills. So Uranus is going to enter the God said. Wow, this is just so delicious. So delicious. The God said. So God is 8. We have done this so many times because God is also 17. God is 17. And this is Uranus movements. That is, Uranus is set to move in that pattern. The 8, the 17, and the 14, which is here. And the said, so we have 8 here, and said, God said, let's do this, D is 1194. Okay, so this is, I count like this, 10 and 4, 14, 14 and 1, 15. Oh, so 15. I had it. So 15 is 6, but isn't this the 15th. I have just mentioned that Uranus is going to enter into Taurus on the 15th, and this is the SED. This is the SED. So 15 is 6. When we add 6 plus 8 is 14. This is 14. Now 1 plus 4 equals 5. And that's Mother Eve. That's Mother Eve. So we can see here how the biblical story is coinciding so beautifully. It's like it's talking to us. Now, basically, as I say, I'm no astrologer, or I'm just picking up little bits of information, but I am drawn to explore this because this had been a personal interest for me, because I felt that whatever I had learned spiritually was not serving me anymore, and so there was the deep desire for my own spiritual development to delve back into the scriptures that I felt had such an impact on me. And of course, I had to question many things. So I'm just trying to see what else on here. Okay, so we have us, which is 31, and of course us, and okay, so for instance, so the last entry, which is 8, where I have taken the first 3 words of each entry. This is what I'm working with, the first 3 words. So we see here the let us, where it has been inconsistent with the other 7 is here. So us and make would be what we'd have to be concentrating on. So basically, while we are preparing all this, there's the goal that we need to have in mind about what are we going to make. It says this is where it's let us make man. So it's as if there'll be a new kind of man in the next 7 years. At the end of the next 7 years, there'll be the other transition of the new man. It's this 7 years here. This is what I am in my calculation, is a 7 year of cleansing. It's like, for instance, working on for the 7th day, or doing that creation, or on the 7th day of rest. That is the cycle. So there is a 7 that has passed or is to pass, and then we concentrate on hair. Okay, so this hair is 31 plus, which is 4 plus 3 is 7. So that in itself tells us about the 7-year cycle. It's a 7-year cycle. Now, I'm not sure if that 7-year cycle pertains to everybody, but I believe it means something very profound for myself, that I am going through a 7-year cycle of rebirth. Okay, and so what else is common that we can see? So we have 2 U's in Taurus. So to you, this is it, 2 U's. Taurus are not working like just for themselves. They are interested in the 2 U's, the W, like I always say. It is a W. W. That is what Taurus is about. Now, I like the idea of the 9 in the middle here, because the 9 is what births. So 9, whatever you give 9, it gives that back to you. So basically, Taurus is like having 9 in the middle to say, this is what we want. We want to ensure that the 2 U's are okay, so they can come together. This is the W that's going to feed the new generation. So there have to be new food planted in the earth, new soil, new, when we say new, renewed. We need to work on these factors. That's what it's about. And of course, the A, I'm going deep here. A is in the earth. and it is in the middle or the heart of the earth. Now let's do this. It's earth is here, and this is what Taurus is about. So, well, in the earth or the heart, let's do both because they are really synonymous. But the point I really wanted to make with you had me doing the heart, to be very honest. Okay. So we need to get into the earth, and here we can see, even with the word earth, we can look here. This is why I'm saying Uranus is like have recruited Taurus as one of the earth signs to really, well, not one of, to, it's really housing Taurus, or Taurus is really housing it, whichever way you want to put it. So Taurus is really housing Uranus because Taurus has in the heart of it here is an earth, as an earth sign, has the A in the middle. So the A is what looks like a house right now, we could say. It is the ladder. It has 3 strokes. So it also, or while it is 1, as numerical value, as 1 as Taurus as well, we could say that what powerful 1 here, while it is there in the middle of the heart, it also has 3 strokes. The 3 strokes is that 3 that coincides perfectly with the first letter of Mother Eve in the word let, because L has a numerical value of 3. The other thing that happens here is, as an earth sign, this is what, again, we need to be paying attention to. We have, this is very, very interesting, and I really am saying pay attention to this, please. So there we have a most beautiful word in the heart, which is art. And we also have that very same word in Taurus. This is T, sorry, let's do this. This is the A-R-T in Taurus is also art. That's why the Taurian is very artistic, very artistic. They take a leaf or a piece of wood and make it look very pretty and make it talk to you. Okay. So another thing, in fact, now there are other things like we would say, and even words that you may not really like to hear as a Taurian, about what you have in your in here, because art is also synonymous with rat and tar. So the Taurus can be tough as well because we know it's the bull. Now the bull, of course, it could be still and passive or placid for ages until it gets really red and go wild. And perhaps that's another reason why it is being in partnership with Uranus, because the bull, or as a Taurian, when there is a job to be done, it's going to get it done. Okay, now, so we have that. Now, there's another word here, even with he, in my numerology, the word he is a word that is, I feel, is synonymous with 13. Of course, it is 13 because 8 and 5 is 13. So we have looked at 8 and 5. We just did that. We saw 5 and we see the 8 right here. Now, that in itself, for instance, is telling us, like the God, is telling us that 13 is a very crucial number. We know that. It's the number of Christ and the disciples at the table. But I see it as the number of incubation. The number where things you plant in that, it's that which it's set it's another set, it's half. When we add 1 plus 3 is 4, and that we see it's half of 8. We could say it's half of 8. So that, and it also means blue in that sense when it is 13. And of course the reverse is green like earth, which is 31 for green. I'm talking about those polarities here. Okay, so we can see that he, here, is also crucial, meaning to the art that is going to be performed. Now, through all this, I have done numerous presentations about heart. If you come on across any of Crimey Queen's um, presentations with earth or heart, you will see, or breathe, you will see a vast number of words that have derived from earth and heart, and to show the magnitude of or existence in that sense. So back to Taurus, I just saw something um, that okay. So we have the first letter as well for Taurus is here, which is 2. We have seen how the 2 has been very instrumental with Mother Eve, in that Mother Eve seem to double everything she does or have done so far, because there we have there let there be, so that is twice, and then let the waters, and here we have let the waters, so that too is twice, and let the earth, and let the earth, that too is twice. So we have 3 twos here, which gives us 6, and that is really the God said. The number 6 is the God said. And the number 2, as we say, coincide again with when we hear the word today. It's always like 2. There is a 2 aspect of the day. When anytime I hear 2 now, I'm thinking of the whole, because we are more inclined to see one side of something, but the whole is two. In this sense, there's the partnership. It's in partnership. So this is why we have the two. The two here is reflected. We can see how what's the things that are in common with these two energies here. So there is the two here again reflecting in Taurus, and we have the U is reflecting here. The only thing that has not reflected here is the N, which is the number 5. So Uranus has the N here in, it's not the middle, but it's got the N here, which is Mother Eve. It denotes Mother Eve. So we are looking and we are seeing, even with directly above each other, this the 5 and the 9. 5 and 9 is 15, and that's the 15 that we are told that is going to happen when Uranus enters Taurus. Right here. So there is also another synchronistic occurrence to happen there. We also see another, here we are. So AU would also be 4, would also equals 4, like this US here and US here. Okay. And here we would have 10, 9, 10, the 10 that's here, and 3 and 2 is 5. 3 plus 2 is 5. So because U is 3 and 2 is T is 2. So we can see it's as if the two letters, one of each here, is as if they have already set their goal. The goal is already set to say this is what we're going to achieve when we get together. It's like when two people meet each other, they meet on common grounds. So there we see the common ground with the 3 vibration here of Uranus, the U, and we see the letter T, which has 2 in Taurus. So when we add those together, we get the number 5. Okay. And there was so I like the idea of having the heart hair, the A hair, and in the middle, and we have 9 in the middle of the earth now. So the 9 in the middle of the earth is what births. That is the what births right here. So 1 plus 9 would be 10, and that's the 10 we are talking about. That Taurus is 10 right here, because Taurus is really heart and earth. Yes, yes, we are. So I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope you have found this really insightful and enjoyable too. And if you have any comments, please feel free to leave your comments, likes, and please subscribe. Okay, although I will put this as on Taurus and Uranus, because I believe that it is something very beneficial, particularly for earth signs, and so we could see how to prepare. Okay, but I have lots of other presentations that I know have strong connection with astrological insights. So feel free to browse. Okay. Thank you for watching. Do like, as I say, and please subscribe and click if you like, of course, and share, because this is how we do it. We share to actualizing self-full love. Stay blissful, bliss-filled, or blissful. Okay, so we're talking about bliss, and be a field, yes, and plant new seeds, our thoughts, our words, whatever it is, consciously, because we are tilling the ground now. Okay.